to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today does not make me sad. It makes me happy. And there's no crying. There will be no crying on today's stream because they destroyed the ring and everything is all well. I'm joined once again on my panel today for the Return of the King, by the lovely Princess Rennie.
Hey, Teresa. Hey, Stieg. Always great to be here, and hello to the chat. Very excited about these last few chapters coming up.
I know. One of my favorites is in this. I bet you can guess which one.
I might be really off by saying Faramir.
Yeah. Otherwise known as the Steward and the King, a very good chapter. Well, it's also a very good chapter for Aragorn as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good indeed. And then we also have from the future, it is the one, the only, the Viking himself, Steve Kenobi.
Hello there.
Oh, I love that. Yes, hello there. How's the future?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
it's been quiet.
Well, that's good because, you're kind of close to some of that stuff over there, if Russia decides to take over your country.
Oh, yeah, he's been threatening Finland and Sweden a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, okay, that's next door.
Precisely. Notice he hasn't been threatening Norway because he knows you guys will kick his ass.
I don't know. We don't have Thunberg, so there's no reason to be pissed at us.
That's true. No. And I'm saying that to suck up because I don't suck up.
Well, if he invades Sweden, though, that's really, really punching down. That's like having Rambo attack the small bus,
Wow. Well, we hope. Well, okay. Well, that's good to know, though. So he has not attacked Sweden yet, and Norway is cool. We see you all will just like get on your skis and stuff, like or do sabotage like in World War II.
Yeah, unless if it's summer, then the skis would definitely slow us down.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't work. Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, and for those of you that haven't studied some of the World War II, some of the activities that the Norwegians were doing, there was even a movie made about it.
Heroes of Telemark. Yep. We're actually to blame for the fact that the Germans did not develop nuclear weapons during World War II. Yep. Which, if they had, the war would have ended quite differently.
Indeed. Yeah, they did this big, huge sabotage thing.
Yeah.
So
Vital.
Well, yes. Say it again. How do you pronounce it?
Vital.
Oh, vital. Oh, I thought you were saying something in Norwegian. I'm like, my gosh, he's speaking Norwegian.
No.
Yes, vital. It was vital. What y'all did. Okay, well, that's cool. Glad to know everything's okay. And even though, Sweden is Sweden, I don't want them to be invaded by Russia. I mean, that would suck. So in any case, let's say hi to our panel. We have all the way also from the north, Snortopupus Kubur. Hello, humans and every other creatures. We have Rennie telling people to like, share, and to subscribe while I was still asleep. I was asleep. I almost slept through my own stream. Jacob Ironstein, hello. I say hello. Jacob Ironstein says, I've got a hot cup of tea. I'm sitting in front of a heater and I'm ready to go. Excellent. Jake Rock 315.
Yes. I need tea. If I disappear at some point, it's because I'm fetching tea.
Oh, I approve of tea. What kind
I'm
of tea?
trying to resist the urge at the moment, but it's like the ring.
Oh my
gosh. It only works for a while.
Hey, I'm in favor of that. That is most excellent. What kind of tea are you drinking?
I'll wait until Rennie talks, then I'll mute myself and.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, sugar boots.
Sugar boots.
He says the nicest things to me.
Cybot, hello. Everyone's saying hello. Let's see. We have one animal. One animal we love our animals here at Miss Martin Muses, and it's Keck44. Thank you, Keck, for being here. Thank you for being here. It says, Stieg Esternapupus, beyond this point, there will be poetry and singing. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I think
Well,
that someone
at
warned
this
me.
point, it's not that bad because they're not singing right next to the troll that's trying to kill them or whatever.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cybot says, yeah, been threatening me home, that prick. Yeah. Yeah. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
Cybot is in Finland, I think.
I believe so. Yeah, don't quote me on that, but yes, no, it's not okay, and it's just not. And I can't get away from these friggin' Russians because then they come and like try to do little bots as well. Yeah, plenty of singing. So, well, stay safe over there. Stay safe over there, everybody. Oh, Snort Poopa says just smear Crisco on the skis. Oh,
So they can glide on the ground, I guess.
Okay. I don't know. I Steve, you would know better than I. Jacob Ironside is having some Earl Grey hot. I saw what you did there. Yeah. Yeah, Steve, what are you drinking?
Right now I have some, what is it? Pepsi Max.
Oh, okay. So you're not drinking tea right now. You're just getting
No.
Okay.
Do you have like 20 bottles of it?
No, I have one.
Only one. Okay, so
Darn.
Why would I drink 20 bottles?
I don't
I'm not
know.
that thirsty.
You never know, man.
We have Jedi Dick Sensei. You may be new. If you are new, welcome, or if it's a new name, welcome to your new name. All right. Oh, and we have bacon. Matt G has brought bacon. We approve. We approve of
That's
bacon.
bacon. I've seen that emoji. I didn't know it was bacon.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I thought it was some anime stuff.
Nah, it's bacon, bro.
What anime stuff would that be?
I don't know. Half a Pokemon. I don't. Who knows?
That's like Pikachu's lightning bolts.
Wow. Oh shit! Oh gosh darn it! I'm
Good
trying
God,
to
the language.
Oh, you're one. Well, sorry. I picked up the wrong book. I picked up The King's Buccaneer. There it is. Here is The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. Some of my favorite moments are coming up, and of course, the magnificent, the Steward and the King. But we do have, before we get to the Steward and the King, we have none other than the Fields of Cormaline. So a little bit of post, how do you call this? Post Ring Destroyed denouement-ish kind of a thing, because we did leave Frodo and Sam kind of sitting there on Mount Doom going, well, we gonna die. And he was like, yes, good to know you, my man. Good to know you, my man. And also, last time we had seen Pippin in the gang, they were sitting there going, we gotta die. And as Pippin was blacking out because he had a horse land on him, he heard the eagles are coming. And he thought he was like having a vision or something, or thinking back in his last moments of the stories that Bilbo would tell.
That's actually a thing. If a horse lands on you, it's very common to have images of birds in your head. You see it in the old Donald Duck movies and all that. When they get hit in the head, they see birds.
Okay, yes, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. In the older cartoons, it was like you get hit or knocked in the head, you see like visions of birds flying around for some reason.
Yeah, yep. little circles. Yeah. Well, so that's what was really happening to Pippin. That's what was really happening to Pippin. Am I spelling this right? M-A-L. I am spelling this right. I am spelling this correctly. So let's go ahead and get started with the Field of Cormaline. The Field of Cormaline. I'm gonna once again Sorry, I just saw something. You are correct. You are correct, Jake Ironside. It was not a horse. It was a troll. It was a troll. That was my bad. My bad. Oh, I knew something really big and heavy had landed on him.
It's Rosie
so-
O'Donnell.
Okay, he sits around and complains if I say bad language, and then he does stuff like that.
That wasn't it. It didn't have any cuss words in it.
Yeah, but the vision is just awful.
Mm.
Well, no,
Imagine
I know
being
you
pummeled by
didn't say
Rosie
any
O'Donnell.
curse words, but what I'm saying is you make me say the curse words.
No, Sam is very into Rosie. Actually, the whole of him would be inside her. Actually,
Sorry, Teresa.
All right. I'm going to a brief summary here to help us with this. Oh, for goodness sake. All right. So here's what the summary says. The narrative returns to Gandalf and those outside the Black Gate, as I said. To the north, the captains of the West foundered on the hills outside the gate, surrounded by a dark, rolling sea of orcs and wild men. Gandalf stood proudly, white and calm, with no shadow falling upon him. Suddenly, a cry rose up. The eagles are coming! The eagles are coming! Out of the north arrived a company of great eagles led by Gwaithir the Windlord. The will of Sauron faltered, and all the armies of Mordor quailed in terror. Oh my. Sorry, someone's trying to distract me in the chat by saying things. They were struck by terror. Gandalf cried. Sorry. A great roar shook the hills. Gandalf cried in victory that the ring bearer had completed his quest and that the reign of Sauron had ended. As Gandalf spoke, a huge shadow rose in the south, extending across the sky like a giant hand, and then vanished in the wind with a great rush. I thought this was really cool, how they described what happened on Mount Doom, how it appeared to everyone hanging around at the Black Gate during the battle. Yeah. So, and you got to admit, when those eagles come along and you realize that they're going to be saved and they're all like, the eagles are coming, you feel like the cavalry has arrived.
Cavalry,
Yeah, like
you
there's
know?
some hope. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah. No, nothing.
What were you saying, Steve?
Nothing.
Oh, wait, did I say cavalry? Wait.
Yes, you did.
It's a common mistake. People say that a lot.
No.
Yes, the hill from Jerusalem arrived. Oh gosh, mea culpa. Though, well, no, I'm not even going to go there. I was not trying to make a clever something or other. Cavalry. In other words, the damn eagles arrived, and they're coming to save everybody. Frodo, the nine-fingered hero, says Parrothead. Well, hello, Parrothead. Welcome to Smart Muses. Yes. Well, hey, you know, someone's got to do it. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
You guys remember that Rankin Bass Return of the King where they had the Frodo of the Nine Fingers or whatever song? It was so weird.
Yeah.
And what
Where's
the
the
hell is
missing-
wrong with...
Where's the missing finger? Is he sitting on his hands? And
As a kid, you're like, what is this all about, right? You know, until you read the books or whatever. Because I saw the little movies and then I read the books with my mom.
Yeah. And you guys are sick Fs. That's all I got to say. Okay, I'm going to change it. As Gandalf, yeah, the huge hand and the big shadow, that was just really cool. Yeah, in the movie, they kind of had it happen at the same time. Well, this did happen at the same time. It's just that Tolkien is describing it from different points of view. Aragorn led the captains in a great sweep over the plains. Aragorn! Gandalf then soared into Mordor on the back of Is it Gwahir? Is that how you say it?
Gwahir.
Yes,
Gwahir. Gwahir. That's also badass. It's like he's gonna go save them. Yay! Meanwhile, Frodo and Sam, still in the heat of Mordor, had given up all hope of survival. Yeah, that's also a very moving little scene. I'm gonna go away from the summary here and go to the book where Frodo says, "I am glad that you are here with me, here at the end of all things." "Yes, I am with you, Master," said Sam, laying Frodo's wounded hand gently to his breast. "And you're with me, and the journey's finished. But after coming all that way, I don't want to give up yet. It's not like me, somehow, if you understand." "Maybe not, Sam," said Frodo, "but it's like things are in the world. Hopes fail, an end comes. We have only a little time to wait now. We are lost in ruin and downfall, and there is no escape." "Well, Master," said Sam, "we could at least go further from this dangerous place here, from this crack of doom." I'm sorry, I don't know why that cracked me up. The crack of doom.
The crack cracked you up.
The crack of
move
doom.
away from the crack, Mr. Frodo. You've already lost one finger.
If that's its name. "Now, couldn't we? Come, Mr. Frodo, let's go down the path at any rate." "Very well, Sam, if you wish to go, I'll come." My gosh.
He's quite the giver, isn't he?
He really is, you know?
Frodo first.
Frodo. Okay, and then they go and they walk down the side of the mountain, and there's a huge fiery vomit rolled in slow, thunderous cascade down the eastern mountainside. Frodo and Sam could go no further. Slow rivers of fire came down long slope towards them. Soon they would be engulfed. A rain of hot ash was falling. They stood now, and Sam, still holding his master's hand, crested. He sighed. "What a tale we have been in, Mr. Frodo, haven't we? I wish I could hear it told. Do you think they'll say, 'Now comes the story of Nine-Fingered Frodo and the Ring of Doom'? And then everyone will hush like we did when in Rivendell, when they told us a tale of Bear in one hand and the great jewel. I wish I could hear it, and I wonder how it will go after we part."
They probably wouldn't tell the story like that, because if they get fried, they wouldn't know that Frodo was missing one finger, would they?
No.
Oh, good point. So there you go, Sam. You suck. Henry Cavill showed up at the beginning of the play. Well, that's better than never thinking Jesus and the two thieves showed up. Okay, greetings. Hello, Tommy. Hello, Tommy. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah, we love Tommy here at Miss Martin Muses. Yes, we do. Well, we love everybody. But he is one of our, not just an animal, but he has a whole collective of guinea pigs. But that's a good point.
Highly trained, highly intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guinea pig collective. Resistance is futile.
They can strip a man to the bone in less than 30 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're ferocious. They eat people.
Well, that's fun.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, you know, polar bears are dangerous too. I mean, Snort of Poopus, if I ever met you, I'd have to like shoot you.
The polar bears are dangerous, but they don't hold a candle to the guinea pigs that Tommy has trained.
Okay, well, you heard it here now.
Didn't know you were training killer guinea pigs, Tommy.
Yeah, well, that island, I told you, that island off the coast in Norway that I can't pronounce correctly, especially when Stig's around because I get self-conscious. They have to carry around like shotguns with them because of the polar bears.
Yeah.
That's not anywhere near where I live, by the way.
Well, no, but it's still in Norway.
It's Norway owns it, but it's like, yeah, it's an island closer to the North Pole. Really, it's out there in the actually a great setting for a horror movie if you think about it. It's isolated.
Oh gosh.
Absolutely. So, Sword of Poopa, stay away from there. People will shoot you. And regrettably, as I said, I would have to shoot. Okay. Jacob Ironside says Frodo can only count to 9 now.
Also, it's symbolic. 9 Nazgul, 9 fingers.
Oh,
I was just thinking that when you said that, I was like, oh, I know he's gonna go there. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, the symbolism, absolutely. Norpoo says everyone who meets me feels that way.
Also, Frodo suffered the same injury as Sauron did.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes. Yeah. Parrot Head said the pigs start with your toes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do. Totally.
Snorter Poopas is helping me out. Svalbard. So, am I correct?
Yeah, the D is silence.
It is?
Yeah.
Wait, the V? Wait, say it again?
Svalbard.
What he said.
Yeah, the D is silent.
Okay. Svalbard.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the closest, or maybe because we're live, he's not going to scold me for my pronunciation. But yeah.
I would.
Oh, okay. Yes. Stay away from there. People will shoot you. So that's an interesting point. You've just ruined this for me forever. Maybe if only Frodo had said that. It's like, hey, dumbass, no one's going to know I only have 9 fingers. Yeah.
What a great line.
Yeah.
And then Sam goes, they may, Mr. Frodo, they may.
Yeah.
Like, no, they won't.
Okay. And then, but even while he spoke so, rather, Sam, to keep fear away until the very last, his eyes still strayed north into the eye of the wind, to where the sky far off was clear, and the cold blast, rising to a gale, drove back the darkness and the ruin of the clouds. And so it was that Gandalf saw them with his keen, foreseeing eyes. So, yay! Gandalf comes down and he saved them. The movie did this part perfectly, in my opinion. It was really cool. Cool. I was bawling. Tommy says, Miss Marmee says, I recently rewatched Return of the King animated, and that damn song Frodo of the 9 Fingers and the Ring of...
It's a total earworm, right? Like as soon as who was it that said it? Parrot Head in the chat. That's where my mind went, and now I have that song in my head. I'm like, dang it, Franken Pass.
Yeah, one of these days I'll get out my guitar and just start singing all the songs. And
oh, you have to have Stieg on for that.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that would fill me with such joy. Thank you, Rennie.
Like
you
a
know
birthday
me too
present.
well.
I know, right?
Just to sing along. It's like, let me sing you to sleep.
Yeah, rage doesn't really put people to sleep.
Oh, you could get tired from being so upset that you fall asleep. You know what I mean? You just run out of energy.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Jacob said that's why Sauron only had 9 Nazgul. Yeah, he couldn't count past 9.
You were awesome, Jacob.
So, the 2 eagles swooped down and lifted the hobbits into the air. I've now gone back to the summary.
You know what happened? Sauron is actually German, and when they cut his finger off, he screamed 9.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. So when Sam awoke, he found himself on a soft bed in Ithilien, the eastern lands of Gondor. He first commented on the extraordinary dream he'd had, and then cried out in astonishment that his dream actually happened. Frodo slept next to Sam, and Gandalf watched over the two of them. You see, and that's why all the fake Tolkien scholars are going, see, they're all gay.
Well, they didn't
Yeah.
say they had sex. They were just sleeping in the same bed. Has nobody ever slept in the same bed
Yeah,
as
and they're
someone?
tiny.
Yeah.
You can fit two of them in one bed.
Well,
I
I've
don't.
slept next to female friends before. Nothing happened. I mean, I'm not into chicks, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I know, but you know what I mean. How nowadays they're pulling everything out of their butts to go see.
Yeah. It's so dumb. They'll grasp at straws.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Every time I see that, I'm going, great. Some friggin' paper's been written on
Oh,
it.
they were same kind of people were trying to say that Han Solo and Chewie were bisexuals because of the stupid shower scene in the Han Solo movie.
Well, that's just like saying that guys at the gym that get into the communal shower are all like, bi or
Yeah.
whatever. That's so dumb.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. You know how? A lot of those scenes they have actually done papers on them trying to rewrite the stuff, and they're wrong.
Exactly.
I mean, the story
Yeah.
is so much more than that. But yeah, every time that happens, I'm thinking, oh, great, they probably added that in their paper too.
Yeah. Here's more fuel to the fire. Yep.
Yeah. And then Gandalf watching. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The wizard said that a great shadow had departed, asked the hobbit to dress in their worn and ragged attire, and escorted them out of the wood. They were to attend a reception hosted by the King of Gondor. Yay! You see, I love this. I love this. And of course, Sam's like, "Who's that?"
The king? What?
Yeah. Well, because they hadn't been around for some of that later stuff. He goes, "The king? Which king? And who is he?" And Gandalf's like, "The king of the ancient land. He waits for you." Yeah, and they ask him. Sam's like, "How are you doing?" And Sam's like, "Well, besides my finger, my lost finger, I'm feeling good." Oh boy. Yeah. So, anyways, they also found the thing, the Lady Galadriel's gifts as well. So they still have the glass in your box, Sam. We were all glad to have these safe again. And I'm back in the book now. And when they were washed and clad and had eaten a light meal, because they always have to eat in these, they followed Gandalf and they're moseying along. They come to an opening in the wood. They were surprised to see knights in bright mail and tall guards in silver and black standing there, who greeted them with honor and bowed before them. Yeah, that's like what they did. They saved that for the coronation scene in there. But this is very moving. They're bowing before the hobbits. And then one blew a long trumpet, and they went on through the aisle of trees before the singing stream. So they came to a wide green land and blah, blah, blah. And as the hobbits approached, swords were unsheathed. Yeah, I love these guys. Swords were unsheathed and spears were
Metaphor.
shaken. Wait, what, Steve?
I said it's a metaphor for something else.
Oh,
As is the spear shaking.
oh no. Oh no. No. So, but no, this is a big, great honor they're giving them. They're giving it unsheathing their swords. The spears were shaken, and horns and trumpets sang. And the men cried with many voices and in many tongues. So here's some poetry for you, Steve. Long live the halflings. Praise them with great praise. Yay. Praise the ring bearers. Praise them with great praise. Actually, that's kind of obvious there, but yeah. So they praise. This praise goes on for like 10 lines. Gosh. And then they recognize that the king is Strider. And they keep going, praise them with great praise. And when the glad shout had swelled up and died away, a minstrel of Gondor stood forth. This is the part that Steve was waiting for. And knelt and begged to have to sing. And behold, He said, "For I will sing to you of Frodo, of the 9 fingers, and the ring of doom." It's like, yay!
It
And
sounds
then
like he lost his finger sticking it into some ring that was the doom of his finger.
the great crack of doom. And when Sam heard that, he laughed aloud for sheer delight. And he stood up and cried, "Oh, great glory and splendor! All my wishes have come true." And then he wept. And they all wept and laughed and wept. And Stinky, how would you have felt about all this crying?
I would have just rolled my eyes and waited for it to, get over with it.
Nah, I think you would have cried too. You're lying.
No, I would not.
Oh.
I don't give a shit if a short person loses a finger.
God. Just a little bit of a loss.
Okay,
my
so
loss.
then they sang the song. Oh gosh, he didn't just sing the song of Frodo and the 9 fingers and the crack of doom. He sang it in their language. Then he sang it in the Elven tongue. Then in the speech of the West, shit, he sat and sang it like 5 times. Oh. And then they like go and have a dinner.
You should have translated it for the deaf people as well.
Oh.
Like done it in sign language.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
how would you sing that in sign language?
Well, in sign language.
Actually, if you think about it, with Frodo missing his finger, he probably can't do sign language.
No.
Probably, it would probably be like sign language with a lisp.
Oh no. Damn it. Okay, so then they had this big ass feast, and it's so cool. They came to him with swords and armor, and he had his mithril coat, and then Gandalf put a crown of silver upon their head. So, I mean, Sam and Frodo really are getting what's due to them for what they did. And they sang at the king's table. Oh, sorry, they sat. I've got singing on the mind. And they sat at the king's table with Gandalf, the king, and King Éomer of Rohan, and the Prince Imrahil, and all the chief captain. And there was Gimli and Legolas. So they had a big old reunion. And then they saw 2 young boys, and they're like, what are these 2 boys doing in this army? And then they realized it's Pippin and Merry, and they all get together and they laugh and they hug, and it's just so happy.
Aww.
Yeah, see, these chapters are full of a lot of this kind of stuff, just happy porn, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's just one thing after another.
Also, Pippin outranks them because he got a little title at Gondor.
Oh, that's right.
You are correct. Yeah. Well, Merry too. He's a squire or something.
Yeah, in Rohan.
Oh, Rohan.
Yeah, but
you're
Sam
right.
will
Yeah,
outrank them both. Isn't he like mayor of Hobbiton later?
In Hobbiton, yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, Pippin outranks them. They're in Gondor.
True.
No, you are correct.
Yeah.
And then Legolas starts talking, but he decides to go to the sea. And then he sings this big long song about the sea. And then he runs away down the hill after he sings. And meanwhile,
that's when you know, Legolas has lost it during the war.
It's like, let's go to the sea. The white gulls are crying. The wind is blowing. I'm not going to read this. All right. And then they are all getting ready.
A part of that is in the one of the songs for the movie. The Annie Lennox one.
Oh, yeah. Into the West.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, but there's parts of it like gray ship, do you hear them calling? The voices of my people have gone before me. You are correct, Stieg. Yes. Gosh, that song is so sad. And then the month of May comes along, and they all get ready to go back to Gondor. Yay! Nice. All right. So all porn is happy porn. No, but you know what I mean? It almost gets ridiculous where it's like you had this one happy moment. Now you're gonna have another one and another one. But come on. They didn't go this far in the movie. Maybe it might have been too much in the movie, but you know, they dress them in honor. They put a silver crown on their head, and they have this big honor guard for Frodo and Sam. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. And we have Luffy as God. Hello, nice to see you. Praise the piggies for nibbling away at bad media. Okay. And cried and sneezed, and many noses were blown. Yes. Sort of stupid. Hello, Keely Chow. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here at Miss Martin Muses. Much appreciated. Tommy says, I was up to no good tagging Miss Martin Muses, you and Steve Rennie with Frodo and Nine Fingers in the Ring of Doom song since Parrot had sent it over the place. Oh, oops, I'm missing it. So long as you don't mass tag us. Or start Tolkien-splaining to me. It's like, oh, Miss Martin, have you ever read the books? No.
Only like so many times, okay?
Okay, what are you tagging? What are you tagging?
He just tagged the stream. No, he tagged they're skinny pigs.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And that's not mass tagging. That's not mass tagging. Frodo of the Nine Fingers. Yeah.
Nice.
We're gonna tags like 50 people. They're like, what the fuck? Frodo and the what?
You know what? I'm gonna do that just to make a point one day. Just take just a weird, pointless video on YouTube, and I'm gonna tag 50 people in it, and then not say anything.
You know what? And then tag random people like Jack Posobiec and Tim Pool and Pootie Pie.
Joe Rogan.
I'm just gonna say this is it, and it's gonna be a pointless video. People will go, "What am I looking at? Am I missing something?" And I'm gonna go, "Yes."
Do it for one of your Mentos commercials or whatever.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, if you've been following some of this stuff on Twitter, and I try to be nice about it. I'm nice, but yeah. Tommy says, I would never tag that many people. It's creepy. Yeah.
It's like spam mail.
Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes people don't understand that they're not the only people mass tagging us, and so it's like you're being shouted at all day. And it's like just in general, you know.
That's what it's like to be a man. You're shouted at all the time.
Oh, come on.
No. We love everyone here at Miss Martin Muses. Just be a little bit pretty.
No, we don't. We don't love everyone.
Okay, fine.
But 50% maybe.
Yeah.
You're like Bilbo. I like less than half of you more than you deserve, or something like that.
Sort of Poopa says, I don't like being tagged. National Geographic is always trying to tag me to find out about my migratory and mating habits. Perverts.
Yeah, he's correct. I've seen this happen. That poor fellow. It's intrusive as hell.
And then they stalk you with these camera people, right?
Yeah, they're taking pictures of him all the time. He's just out walking.
Yeah, all in good fun. I mean, I understand people's enthusiasm, but that was funny. No, and you know this, Tommy, that was absolutely appropriate, and I plan on listening to that song, and I'm gonna force Stieg to listen to it.
Oh my gosh, you have to, Stieg.
Um, I wasn't gonna not listen to it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Cool.
good. Okay.
Yeah. If Tommy tags me in something, I assume it's important.
Yay. You know, it's one of those things that, like I said, Rankin Bass for me was like a classic when I was like real little, but at the same time, like it gets stuck in your head, but it tells the story,
Mhm. Okay. Well, before we move on to the next chapter, any thoughts, any concerns, meaning of life comments any of you want to say?
No, it's just an ending done well.
Oh.
You know. Um,
I like
yeah.
the camaraderie
Yeah.
that comes back into play. It's like, they haven't seen Merry and Pippin in forever, but it's like they never left, so to speak. They got to catch up, but it's like, oh, there's my buddies. It's like old times. So I really enjoy that. The Hobbits are just yes, there's a lot of silliness, but there's so much fun and compassion for the stuff that they like and they enjoy, which are simple things.
Mhm. Yeah. And I always get moved when they honor the hobbits and Sam, because Sam is really the hero here, and I don't want to say he's too dumb to know it.
But he is.
Like maybe naive.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
he's dumb.
Oh,
yeah, Steve just I think it's more his humility. He's like, well, I did what I was supposed to do. Did what I was supposed to do.
yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to give a bit of a pause here because you are warned. The next chapter is none other than the Steward and the King.
What?
Okay. This is where Faramir proves his quality.
Well, and also when Eowyn finally comes to terms with the fact that she's not really in love with Aragorn, she's just in love with the idea of him. And she grows up and gets over it and realizes that Faramir is the perfect man for her.
Mm-hmm. And for every woman on planet Earth. Just yeah. But this is so well written, and we don't really see the romantic side of Faramir until this chapter, because up till now we see him his point about how he feels about the ring. We see, his dad trying to turning into a human torch and all that, and we know that he's a man of great valor. And then he's Mr. Romantic.
Hmm.
And it's very well done. And you're right. He helps Eowyn understand herself.
It's a good turning point for her, whereas like she was just obsessed with, I want to be able to do what the guys do, and I want to be with Aragorn, and instead of just being hyper focused on that, she realizes what she actually wants and needs out of life and realizes it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't let it go.
Well, and she is the perfect example of the grass is always greener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in her case, she was probably kind of right, but she was fixated that this particular solution is what it would have been.
Exactly.
And even after everything that happens as this chapter starts, she wants to go with the men to the Black Gate and die. She's like, I want to go, and I still want to die of glory in battle. And it's like, girl,
it's like, come on now.
Come on, you. And that's why I also like Faramir, because he says basically, hey, you might get your wish. I don't know if we're going to make it through all of this. But in any case, she's like, I want to be let go. I want to do this. Who commands this? And they're like, well, there's Lord Faramir, who by right is the steward of the city. And then she goes, will you not bring me to him? And I'm like, oh, you can bring me to him. And so Faramir is out walking alone in the garden, being perfect, in the sunlight. And he goes to her. And yeah, she basically tells him, I don't wish healing. I want to ride to war like my brother Aemir, like Theoden, or better, like Theoden the king, for he died. And he's like, dude. And no, and then he goes, it's too late, lady, says Faramir the Perfect, to follow the captains, even if you had the strength. But death in battle may come to all of us yet, willing or unwilling.
What he should have said is, yeah, that's too late, but feel free to hang yourself.
Oh my god.
Yikes. Well, he didn't say that. But he pointed out again that, hey, girlfriend, you're not the only one who kind of is. It sucks to be you. I mean, we're all actually probably gonna die. and then she's like, well, they won't let me go. And he's like, well, they won't let me go either. I mean, come on, woman. It's not because you're a woman, because if you can't fight, you can't fight. And then he says, you and I must endure with patience the hour of waiting. And he said, I myself am also, in the warden's keeping. And then she starts to cry. And she goes, my window does not look eastward. And suddenly her voice was that of a maiden young and sad.
She cries because she didn't get a perfect window? Really? Sorry, she's a bitch.
Oh, no.
I mean, she did kill the Witch King, so there's some redeeming factors there.
Yeah. Steve. Okay, what's going on? Well, actually, one of my thoughts is this girl's, it's that time of month, because that is a total hormonal response. Yeah. It's like, and my coffee's not hot either.
Yep.
Screw it, I'm done.
It's like, screw this. Yeah, and she points out, she's got a broken arm. Like, they're not gonna let anyone fight with a broken arm.
She could still swing a dagger.
Jeez. But what if it's her, like if she's right-handed and it's her right arm, you know what I mean? So maybe, whatever is her dominant side, that could be the arm, and so she can't fight with it.
Yeah.
So she can kick.
Because, I can't fight left-handed too well. Just saying.
Well, I mean, in anybody, whether they're male or female, if they're not up to fighting, they can actually get somebody else killed. That's the other thing. It's like, hey, bitch, it's not just you. It's like you could be in the way or something could happen, and then that would mean that. Sort of Poopa says, wrong window. The curtains were tacky and the furniture just would not do. Yeah. In all seriousness, it's just really coming out that she's just sad. She's really, really sad.
She's been through a lot,
Yeah.
So I can understand.
Yeah. And then Faramir, because he's perfect, Faramir smiled, though his heart was filled with pity. Your window does not look eastward, he said. That can be amended. If you will stay in the house in our care, lady, and take your rest, then you shall walk in this garden in the sun, and you shall look east. And you will find me walking and waiting, and also looking east. It would ease my care if you would speak to me, or walk a whiles with me. And then she goes, how should I ease your care, my lord? Sorry. And I do not desire the speech of living men. Would you have my plain answer? She said, I would. You see, that's the other thing. Boy doesn't beat around the book. Beat around the bush. He's direct. It's like, I'm just going to say it. Then, Eowyn of Rohan, I say to you that you are beautiful. In the valleys of our hills there are flowers fair and bright, and maidens fair still. But neither flower nor lady here have I seen now in Gondor so lovely and so sorrowful. It may be that only a few days are left ere darkness falls upon our world, and when it comes I hope to face it steadily, but it would ease my heart if while the sun yet shines I could see you still, for you and I have both passed under the wings of the shadow, and the same hand drew me back.
So he's into disabled people and hospital porn.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. No, but that's probably one of the best pickup lines I think I've ever seen in a book. It's like,
I mean, it's pretty freaking out there and just like lays it all on the line. You've got to respect that. If a man had said all that to me, I'd be stupid to say no to that, you know?
exactly.
I know what
If I
you
were
would
single.
have said. You would have gone, could you repeat that? I didn't catch the first bit.
Oh, come on.
Well, but he also points out we're about to die. You know, I mean, it's like,
Let's
come on.
enjoy our last few minutes.
Yeah, it's like, come on, woman. Though I think people have heard that line too. Well, since I'm going to die tomorrow, you really want to die a virgin? No. Well, no, you know what I mean. You know, that's the
Yeah.
joke. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. This, you know.
Damn it! I could actually message women on Twitter and go, "Hey, the Russians are invading. Send me tit pics. I'm gonna die."
It is my last wish.
Yep.
I mean, you could just do it for grins and giggles and see how many you get.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh shit! Yeah, the Russians didn't show up, but thank you anyway."
Appreciate it. Had a few minutes of happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even Tolkien says this about their whirlwind romance and courtship, because in one of his letters, that in times of war and stuff, this stuff goes fast. You know, when you think that you're going to die, yeah, you don't have time to sit around and go, well, do I like him? Should I call him? Do I wait 3 days? You know, you don't have time for that. And when you've been through things together, it also, that shared experience bonds you. As he tells her, you and I have both passed under the same shadow. And then she goes,
That's true, because when me and a few friends were chased by that angry guy with a dog because I threw the poop ball through the window, yeah, we've been friends ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
well, you heard it here first. And then she's like, alas, not me, my lord. Shadow lies on me still. Look not to me for healing. I am a shield maiden, and my hand is ungentle. But I thank
she
you.
likes it. She likes it rough.
Or she likes giving it rough. I will walk abroad with the grace of the steward in the city. Thank you for that. I don't have to stay to my chamber. And she did him a courtesy and walked back to the house. But Faramir, for a long time, walked alone in the garden, and his glance now strayed rather to the house than to the eastern walls. Just so that you know, it's always going to be Faramir the perfect, but I'm just not going to say it every time. I'm just going to say his name.
It's implied.
Yeah, he's perfect. Sort of Poopa says, just look how many war brides and soldiers came home from World War I. Yeah, absolutely. And my generation, whose parents went off to Vietnam, my best friend up north, her parents, he was drafted like right after high school, you know, at 18, and they went and they got married. It happens after Vietnam. They're still together 50 years later, you know. So it happens.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I know. Of course, that seems. Oh gosh, that sounds so young. But it's the way it was that when you fall hard and harder, and you don't have maybe necessarily, how do I say, the luxuries of the typical dating crap. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have time for this now. We're going to be honest with each other, not play games. And I like that. Very direct.
Yeah. No time for courtship. Let's get to it.
Exactly. Luffy, as God says, plus she was the only woman on the battlefield, and Faramir knows she's up for it, but Faramir, sloppy second from Aragorn, do better. Oh, well, was it really sloppy seconds from Aragorn? See, that's what we're going to find out. Because, first of all, Aragorn never actually did anything. I feel sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, he never did. I apologize.
Yeah. I feel sorry for the dude. He's just minding his own business. Hi, I'm a king. I'm right. We're going to go fight and all that. And suddenly this chick is like falling head over heels in love with him and running off to die for him. He's like, dude, I barely said hi to her. I don't know what. But what was really going on was she was in love with the idea of his. And Aragorn points that out in the Houses of Healing. And then Faramir, of course, is able to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes and he asks about the warden, and he goes and meets with Mary and finds out about Eowyn's story. So, yeah, he does a little bit of creepy stalker. It's like, so tell me about that chick. And then
Why
they
is
go.
her hand numb?
What?
Wait, what?
Oh, nothing.
Well, and anyway, so the next morning, Faramir comes from the houses. He saw her, and she was clad all in white and gleamed in the sun. And he called to her, and they walked in the on the grass, or sat under a green tree together, now in silence, now in speech. So they hang out for several days.
So cute.
And they were clad in warm raiment. This is a very good part. And heavy cloaks, and over all, the Lady Eowyn wore a great blue mantle of the color of deep summer night, and it was set with silver stars about hem and throat. Faramir had sent for this robe and had wrapped it about her, and he thought that she looked fair and queenly indeed as she stood there at his side. The mantle was wrought for his mother, Findulis of Amroth, who died untimely, and was to him but a memory of loveliness in far days, and of his first grief. And her robe seemed to him raiment fitting for the beauty and sadness of Eowyn. See, one paragraph says so much. Talks about his mother and her sadness. Has this starry blue mantle. It's got the symbols of Gondor on it, and he wraps Eowyn about in it. So symbolism and all that. And we all love the starry mantle. I geeked out so badly when I finally saw the starry mantle in the extended edition, because they cut it out of the theatrical, and that pissed me off. And then he's like, she just keeps looking east. It's like, what do you look for? And she says, it's been 7 days, but think not ill of me if I say to you, they have brought me both a joy and a pain that I never thought to know. Joy to see you, but pain, because now the fear and doubt of this evil time are grown dark indeed. Eowyn, I would not have this world end now, or lose so soon what I have found. And she's still not warming up, and she's like, let us not speak of it. I cannot turn yet. I wait for the strike of doom. And this is the moment when Frodo and all them are about ready to throw the ring in, and it says time halted. So they could feel it, even as far as Gondor, what was going on. And as they stood so, the hands met and clasped, so they did not know it. And they waited till they knew not what they were waiting for. And then Faramir goes, it reminds me of Numenor. Again, we're talking some serious lore that they're dropping here about, we know all about Numenor and all of that, and the fall and how apocalyptic that was. And he goes, I often dream of it. That's also reminding us that Faramir seems to have like some sort of connection, like some spirit connection to things.
Yeah, he has like psychic dreams. It seems
Yeah, and I think some people have speculated that he was actually sent those dreams, perhaps from the Valar.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I read that in. I was reading some Tom Shippey papers last night, and he points that out, and it makes sense, because he also had more dreams than Boromir did before the Fellowship and all that. The some of those premonitions, So then she kind of freaks out. Then you think the darkness is coming, darkness inescapable, because basically it's like saying, yeah, we're going to be, thrown into the sea and all this stuff. And he goes, no, it was but a picture in my mind. I do not know what is happening. And he actually goes on for quite a while. He's a talker. And then finally he goes, The hope and joy are come to me that no reason can deny. Eowyn, White Lady of Rohan, in this hour I do not believe that any darkness will endure. And he stooped and kissed her brow. And then all of a sudden, the sun was unveiled, light leaped forth, the place shone like silver. And in all the houses of men, this is Steve's favorite part, men sang for joy that welled up in their hearts. And then a great eagle came flying, and he sang, "Sing, all you people." And he goes on, and all the people sang all the ways of the city. So this is how they in Gondor went through this apocalypse. Hello, Shane. Welcome, Shane. Thank you for being here at Miss Martin Muses. And then it takes a little while. I could read the whole thing, but I'm not going to bore you all. I feel like this is probably turning into like that scene in an airplane and everyone starts to kill themselves. But I love this stuff. I love it. This is probably the closest we have to romance in the book, because even though we know that Aragorn and Arwen have a thing, that we don't really see it. And then finally, after several weeks, Faramir basically goes, what does it say? He goes, "Eowyn, do you not love me, or will you not?" And she goes, "I wish to be loved by another, but I desire no man's pity." So she also was kind of thinking that he was pitying her. He goes, "That I know. You desired to have the love of Lord Aragorn because he was high and puissant, and you wished to have renown and glory and to be lifted far above the mean things that crawl on the earth. And as a great captain made to a young soldier, he seemed to you admirable. For so he is, a lord among men, the greatest that now is. But when he gave you only understanding and pity, then you desired to have nothing unless a brave death in battle. Look at me, Eowyn." So he just basically says it right there. It's like, yeah, you loved the idea of Aragorn and all of that, and you looked at him the way maybe a soldier will look upon someone that he loves. And he says, "Do not scorn pity." He's saying, "I do not pity you. I do not offer you my pity, for you are a lady high and valiant. I deem beyond even the words of the elven tongue to tell, and I love you. I once pitied your sorrow, but now were you sorrowless without fear or any lack, were you the blissful queen of Gondor, still would I love you. Do you not love me?" And then the heart of Eowyn changed, or else at last she understood it. And suddenly her winter passed, and the sun shone on her. And she goes, "I stand here, and behold, the shadow has departed. I will be a shield maiden no longer, nor take joy only in songs of slaying. I will be a healer, and love all things that grow and are not barren. No longer do I desire to be a queen." Then Faramir laughs. "That is well, for I am not a king. Yet I will wed the White Lady of Rohan, if it be her will. And let us cross the river, and in happier days let us dwell in fair Ithilien, and there make a garden. All things will grow with joy there if the White Lady comes." And then she basically teases him and says, "Well, wouldn't you rather have some chick from Gondor, or you want this wild shield maiden? Is that what you want people to say?" And he goes, "I would." And he takes her in his arm and kisses her under the sunlit sky. And he cared not that they stood high upon the walls and in the sight of many. And then the warden says, "Okay, you can leave now. You're all healed." And she goes, "No, I want to stay here, for this is now the most blessed place of all to me." So that is a very fleshed out, in my humble opinion, Rennie, that's a very fleshed out character sketch of all of these. I speak jive. And yeah, it brings it all to really a good conclusion. And just rereading it now, it did just occur to me that Tolkien, as someone who did go through war, he wasn't married. He, I believe, was in love with the woman that would eventually become his wife. And they married after World War I. So this could perhaps be applicable a little bit to how he felt. After war, it's like, we're going to go away from all this, and we'll have a garden, and we'll sit around in the sunlight.
Yeah. And I I really forgot about this line in the book where she says the shadow has departed. So you kind of have to wonder, like, when she, when she was going through everything that she was going through, was she kind of semi poisoned due to all of her interactions with Wormtongue? I mean, I just don't know. And maybe, like, whenever she's talking to Faramir and she feels healed, maybe all of that stuff just kind of washes away and she's able to see clearly. So, but yeah, I do love the fact that she's like, yeah, what am I doing here? This is stupid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really do like that she comes to that realization, because it's like, girl, get over it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And that what she thinks she will make her happy really isn't going to make her happy.
Yeah, she doesn't really know Aragorn. She only knows, like, some slight conversations they've had, but she knows Faramir. Like, they've been, they've been hanging out and just, chatting and getting to know each other very well, much better than she ever knew Aragorn. And it's like, can you really love someone you don't know very well? I mean, maybe platonically, but can you really be in love? I don't think so.
No, you are correct. And I think it was well crafted by Tolkien that he has that paragraph where he talks about they just sat and they walked and they talked. They got to know each other. It was just the two of them. So, as you said, something that she never had with Aragorn, or frankly with any dude.
Yeah, because she shut herself off, So I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only did she shut herself off, I mean, even if they didn't have the whole thing going on with Wormtongue and all that, when you're basically a princess, it's not like you could just sit around and go for a night in the town and just date and talk to any man.
Yeah, you can't just, like, go out on dates left and right and be like, oh, Eowyn's a hoe. You don't need that for the kingdom,
Yeah, and you wouldn't, and under different circumstances, let's just say if there hadn't been a war or something and Faramir wanted to do that, he would have had to have gone to Theoden and, like, asked permission, like, may I visit with her and walk with her? Women really were under a lot more restrictions than men on those matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically the main point that they got to know each other.
Yeah. They really did. They became very close, and I don't think she realized that she was falling in love with him until he, like, kind of reasons with her and the quote-unquote shadow leaves. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize that's what was happening here.
Well, precisely. Yeah, Stieg, I'm sure that you just sat around and sighed and dreamed and all that through this chapter. You have it memorized, so I guess. But in all seriousness,
well, I haven't read it in a long time, so
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, as far as this is kind of the end of Eowyn's story here. We don't really. We see her, like, in a few more scenes where she's almost in the background, but this is bringing it all full circle. And Faramir, he's still got a few more things left, but he's also pretty much done too, because he's also healed by all of this, because he had a lot of bad, he lost his brother, lost his crazy father, and all that. Oh gosh, Jacob says they were locked up in a hospital together. Nothing better to do. Yes. Okay. All right. So, yeah, it's true. Okay, I'm going to move on from this.
It was an orc pandemic.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, Snortopoopa says, under normal circumstances, Eowyn would probably have been married off to some powerful lord in Rohan for dynastic reasons. Yes.
Yeah.
And if there was to be any courtship between Gondor and that, it would have been Boromir first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because Faramir is a second son. Second sons always were.
Yeah, they get the shit wives.
Yeah. They do, Steve. And a second son isn't considered a catch, because they're not the ones that will inherit. They will not be the heirs.
He's just there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I already read that. So, pardon me, an allergy fit attacked me. So anyway, so after all that, yay! And she also understands she doesn't even want to be a soldier. You know, she's going to be a healer and have flowers and stuff and be girly. But then this pretty badass thing with the coronation of Aragorn, because this chapter is the steward and the king, and they all get ready and they make this big welcoming committee. Faramir is there as the steward, the warden of the keys, the captains of Gondor, Lady Eowyn of Rohan, and Elfhelm the marshal, many knights of the Mark, and on either side of the gate was a great press of fair people in raiments of colors and gardens of flower. They are waiting the return of the king. So the king arrives in a great deal of splendor, and they also point out again that everyone, it's not just the normal people, it's the different races of men, the different kingdoms and all that coming together. And so Aragorn comes along, and Faramir goes and speaks this big speech, because I guess now they have to say speeches when they're not singing. And then Aragorn took the crown and held it up and said, I don't know what the hell he said. He spoke in tongues. He speaks in, I believe, Elvish or some language.
Yeah, I think he speaks Sindarin or Kenyan, and I can't remember which one, but he does speak a lot of Elvish.
Yeah. And then everyone says, what the fuck did he say? No, and then, actually, but thank you, Tolkien, he translates it for us. What he said was, out of the great sea to Middle Earth I am come, to this place will I abide in my heirs, unto the ending of the world. Then, to the wonder of many, Aragorn did not put the crown upon his head, but gave it back to Faramir and said, by the labor and valor of many I have come into my inheritance. In token of this, I would have the ring bearer bring the crown to me, and let Mithrandir set it upon my head, if he will. For he has been the mover of all that has been accomplished, and this is his victory. Oh, Frodo. Yeah, so... And then Frodo came forward and took the crown, and from Faramir and bore it to Gandalf, and Aragorn knelt, and Gandalf set the white crown upon his head and said, now come the days of the king, and may they be blessed while the thrones of the valor endured. And then Faramir cried, behold the king! Because I guess he had to be Captain Obvious there at that moment. And the third
they
age
have
of
to
the world.
behold quite a lot of things. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yes.
You always have to behold if you're in Middle Earth.
Yeah, you never just look. And in that moment, all the trumpets were blown, and the King Elisar went forth and came into the barrier. And there's music, and there's harps, and there are songs. And this is the passing of the third age of the world into the new age. And then it just shows him being Mr. King and all that for a little bit. He makes my boyfriend Faramir the Prince of Ithilien. And then... let's see. Gandalf tells him that third age of the world is ended and the new age is begun. It is your task to order its beginning and to preserve what may be preserved. For though much has been saved, much now must pass away, and the power of the three rings also is ended. And all the lands that you see and those that lie around about them shall be dwellings of men. For the time comes of the dominion of men, and the elder kindred shall fade or depart. So also this is the end of the elves living on Middle Earth, and as he says, they're either going to fade, like what will happen with Arwen, or they will depart. And
here's a question though. If Sauron's defeated and the orcs are defeated, why do the elves still leave? It's not like they have to. There's no threat.
I guess because they were promised a place in Valinor, and they
Yeah.
feel like their job on Middle Earth is done, and there's nothing more for them to do since evil is gone, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, and Stig also, they were cast out. They were penitents because of that. They participated in the rebellion, and that's why Galadriel says that she can now go because she passed the test that of the ring. So they wanted to go back to Valinor, but they weren't allowed, and now it's like the gates opened up for them because of what they did.
Still, you'd think, that, hey, it's safer now. Don't all have to leave.
Yeah, that's a good point. Nothing's going to happen to Rivendell now, and you can enjoy it and retire and die.
Yeah. But I think that was also part of it because they said even the power of the three rings is going to be gone. So I think that they may not have had the long lives that they had, that they were going to take upon them the doom of men.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I see exactly what you're saying, Stig. Like, would everyone feel the exact same way? Maybe, maybe not. And maybe there were more like Arwen who decided to stay and take the doom of men upon them. Yeah. Shane Nolan says, but they are the elves that never went to Valinor. What elves? Yeah. Yeah. But I think that they all got a place opened up for them. And that was part of it.
Well, I sometimes forget, Galadriel's from Valinor. She's actually seen it. She's actually been there. Yeah. And for her, that is home.
Yeah. And I think it's like yeah, you can hang around in Earth and stuff where things suck, or you can go hang out in heaven. Which would you choose?
Right.
To a certain degree, I think that there's an aspect of that. Sort of Poopa says, it's the nature of elves to weary of their existence in Middle Earth and to slowly fade. The high elves would go to Valinor and the lesser elves would withdraw and fade. Yeah. Oh no. Jacob says, are they the black elves? You went there. Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, you went there. Yeah, now we learned that they all were racists who did a genocide, apparently.
Yeah, that's what Amazon is telling us.
Exactly. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah, I think we've all seen that meme where Mary and Pippin are like, well, what happened to the black elves? And you just see Elrond looking shifty. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah. Well, they're in the Shire, with the black hobbits who are not seen in the movies or in the Hobbit movies. There must have been, between the Amazon show and the movie, some kind of ethnic cleansing in the Shire.
Exactly, which is why it's all just so ridiculous.
Yeah, the Brandy Bucks did something.
Oh no!
I say it was a fool of a toque. No.
Oh no, a fool of it. Yeah, it's terrible. That's why on so many different levels there's something wrong with that. Yeah. And then meanwhile, the midsummer comes along on the eve of midsummer, and along comes, yay, the elves. Galadriel comes, Celeborn, Elohir, and Elladen. And then last but certainly not least, it is Arwen, the even star of her people. And Frodo, when he saw her come glimmering in the evening with stars on her brow and a sweet fragrance about her, was moved with great wonder. And he said to Gandalf, at last I understand why we have waited. This is the ending. And then the king welcomed his guests, and they alighted. And Elrond surrendered the scepter and laid the hand of his daughter in the hand of the king. And together they went up into the high city, and all the stars flowered in the sky. And then Aragorn the King Elisar wedded Arwen Undamil in the city of the kings upon the day of midsummer, and the tale of their long waiting and labors was come to fulfillment. So in a way, that's the end and denouement of our king.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's like finally they can be together.
Yeah. Well, and he's the king, so he's come into the kingdom, and weddings, well, they are what they are in real life, but also in literature, there's always a great deal of symbolism of, what that means is, it's a new beginning, and he has his queen, and the elves will be passing away. And, everyone loves a Midsummer's Eve wedding. I mean, what a nice way to get married.
Yeah. Very nice background.
Midsummer Night's Scream.
Oh!
Dream, I mean. Sorry.
We don't know that Arwen's a screamer. Just saying. Sorry.
Well, they've got how do I say this? They have a very large castle and rooms, so they probably can be as loud as they want to.
Yeah, that's true. And the walls are made of stone.
Yeah.
And so is he.
Oh gosh, yeah. So I love the Steward and the King. We're eventually going to be coming across the chapter of many partings. Actually, that might be the next one. It is the next one, but one could call this many endings. Each character has
Happy
their
endings.
ending.
Oh dear.
Well, that Aragorn would see to that. Lots of happy endings.
I mean, hell, why not?
She's got the Strider inside her.
Look, he's had to deal with a lot in this venture. He needs some relief.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of babies were born. Yeah. Yeah, lots of babies. Gosh, Steve, now I'm not going to get that out of my head. I really love this chapter. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite chapters of the entire trilogy. I think it's just so well written, and I like a man that can finish. It's. Oh,
Wow.
Okay, wait. No, gosh, get your minds out of the gutter.
Sorry.
Usually they do finish. It's just when.
That's true. That can finish in a way there where everyone's satisfied. How's that? But Tolkien, he lands it. There's many writers that, for some reason, feel like they don't need to pay a lot of attention to the ending. They get up to the climax and all that, and then they're like, oh, okay, and then they lived happily ever after. Goodbye. Like, there's too much agony and not enough ecstasy. But
Wow.
Wait, what'd you say?
Phrasing galore.
Okay, there was a movie called The Agony and the Ecstasy about building or painting the Sistine Chapel. And I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to explain anything to you, Stieg.
Oh, Rennie was the one who snorted.
I snickered. I didn't snort, but I'm sorry.
Starter Poopa says the baby boom of the fourth age, 2021. There were guards that would like me. Oh, great. They're at it again. Yeah, Shane says phrasing. The baby boom, fourth age, number 1. La, 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 la.
You have to wonder, does Arwen say fourth Aerlingus when she and Faramir are together? Sorry.
No, actually, she goes, show me your quality.
Yeah. Let us ride out together one last time. And he's like, I've done it 6 times already. I can't walk.
that. You see, these are the details you don't get from the Tolkien scholars that we will bring forth. Tom Shippey, eat your heart out. I didn't see any of this kind of stuff in your papers or in any of your books. We have the real lowdown of what's going on in Middle Earth. But all of that, all of what you said. But the point is that he gives it to you. He really gives you the satisfaction of ending very, very well every single thread. And this book, this chapter, Many Partings, it goes like to a whole new level of giving.
Rennie muted herself because she was giggling again.
You can't prove that.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's okay to giggle. We endorse giggling here at Miss Martin Muses. Snortapoopa says, if the tower is rocking, don't bother knocking.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like a sock on the door handle.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I just have this in mind because we know there's someone else with 3 letters in his first name that can't even finish a book, let alone give a satisfactory ending.
Girl, I know.
Yeah. That Tolkien delivers on what he promised with his books.
Well, funny thing is I'm sorry, Teresa.
No, go right ahead.
He compares himself to Tolkien a lot, and he even added the extra R because of Tolkien. And then he doesn't complete his book series, but Tolkien did. And he wrote way more, on the side and stuff, and Martin can't even finish his story. It's sad.
Oh, but he could write a stupid video game.
Or a screenplay and produce TV shows.
He can bounce around on a trampoline and buy a railroad.
You know what? There's been a bunch of great writers that have written huge fantasy series, right?
Yeah.
You have Feist, you have Terry Brooks, you have Terry Goodkind, Robert Jordan. Well, he died. He didn't finish though, but he gave another writer the notes. And Stephen Erickson, all of them have written huge, complicated series, and they've all finished.
Yeah.
In a satisfactory way. George Martin, who probably is the best writer among them all. I don't know what he's up to. And anything but writing, it seems. And he's getting, in my opinion, I think he's gotten high on being a celebrity.
I think he could be right. I think he's just enjoying this fame so much. But I also feel like he painted himself in a corner and doesn't know where to go from here. I think he had an initial outline, but that outline kept changing as he wrote more and more. But he's gotten to a point, it's like, well, how do I get from here to where I want to end without making 5 more books? And I just don't know if he knows how to do it. And I think that he made a series so complicated that it's not going to be easy to resolve, and he doesn't know how to resolve it. And he wants to avoid it. It's like, oh, no, that's too much. I can't deal with it right now. It's too stressful. It's like, but dude, you're getting older and older. You have to resolve it sometime.
Everything seems to be too stressful for him, except writing anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. I have zero sympathy. It's just such a contrast in what Tolkien does and did.
2 years ago, I was still on board because I knew the TV show had taken a lot of time away from his writing and all that. And the way book 5 ended, you have all the characters spread out. So I get it. It's complicated. It's going to take time. But now, though, when he basically said he wasn't going to write anything else until he had finished book 6. Well, he lied. He's written stage plays. He's written video games. He's helping with comics.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of other stuff that he said he wouldn't do. That means he's a liar. There's no other way to put it. So
Well, when he broke his July 2020 promise, I
Yeah.
was like, that's it. I give up.
Yes. And I'm still PO'd because that was part of the reason why I said, okay, I'll read them because he's promised us. Yeah. And he doesn't deserve a break. I'm sorry. A lot of people are like, oh, you've got to give him a break and all that. It's like, no, I don't miss
He has
deadlines.
been given a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The break is over.
Yeah, precisely.
They do a good number on him on South Park,
Yeah.
which is mean, but it's funny and it's kind of true. So
He got pissed about that too.
oh, I heard. I was like, but where's the lie?
Yeah. And he can't laugh at himself. Gary from Nerdrotic said it really well. He said, Tolkien, at the end of the day, is going to make George R.R. Martin his bitch. I'm paraphrasing a little bit of the context. Well, because there was someone that said, readers want to make George R.R. Martin their bitch, for complaining about it. And he said, well, readers may not make him his bitch, but Tolkien already has, or something to that effect. It was a video about a year ago, and it's true. And,
well said.
Yeah. Tolkien is unparalleled. And I think that's why we're also so angry about these idiots that are trying to say they're better than Tolkien.
What Snortopupus is saying there, there's a story about Tolkien chasing away a fan with a broom.
Oh my gosh.
Is there really?
Yeah, showed up at his home, wanted him to
Oh.
sign stuff and whatever it was. And Tolkien chased him off.
Yeah.
That's before like modern day creeping.
Yeah, basically get off my lawn.
Yeah. Well, and he had every right to do so because, come on, people's homes are sacred. That's just not cool. And he certainly, well, in many ways, he also, Snortopupus, didn't like it because he thought they were idiots. Like all the hippies tried to claim the work as their own, and he couldn't stand hippies and all that stuff. And he's like, gee.
Oh yeah, far leftists trying to appropriate something as their own.
Really? I know. Imagine that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he didn't have much patience with that, but yeah. So that's why all this stuff about we're going to do what Tolkien didn't want to do. It's like, well, then yeah. It's like go right ahead.
We're going to do the stuff the writer didn't want. Yeah, maybe there's a reason why he didn't want that.
Yes. Yes, and yes. But I think we've all learned that it's all just a bunch of talking points that's been going on. Yeah, Orc Lives Matter. Oh my gosh. But to move on, because I do want to get through many partings. This will not be as intense. This is actually not a long chapter at all. It is, as it says, many partings, and one could argue that's what we have been doing. I'm going to look here at the summary that Frodo's hanging around, being all happy and all that. But first, he is called to the gardens by the Queen Arwen now. And he's like, Frodo and all them are like, well, we want to go home. But first I must go to Rivendell, for I must see Bilbo. And I was grieved among the household of Eldrin that he was not come. And she goes, do you wonder at that, ring-bearer? For you know the power of that thing which is now destroyed. Your kinsman possessed this thing longer than you. He is ancient in years now, according to his kind, and he awaits you, for he will not again make any journey save one. And then she says, in 7 days we will go. Sorry, my cat. In 7 days we will go. And then she tells him, a gift I will give you, for I am the daughter of Elrond. I shall not go with him now when he departs to the havens, for mine is the choice of Luthien. And as she, so have I chosen both the sweet and the bitter. But in my stead, you shall go, ring-bearer, when the time comes, and if you then desire it. If your hurts grieve you still, and the memory of your burden is heavy, then you may pass into the west, until all your wounds and weariness are healed. But wear this now in memory of Elfstone and Evenstar, with whom your life has been woven, And she took a white gem like a star that lay upon her breast, hanging upon a silver chain, and she set the chain about Frodo's neck. When the memory of the fear and the darkness travels you, this will bring you aid.
Which is what she gave to Aragorn in the movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I get, but I was very disappointed that she didn't give it to Frodo at the end. They had it break or something. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, whenever Aragorn looked in the Palantir, but it
Yeah.
was weird. I'm like, what? The light
Yeah.
of the even star doesn't break? What's wrong with you people?
Yeah. That was the only part I didn't mind it, because I could see maybe she gave it to a change, like giving it to Aragorn, but it was to belong to Frodo, as you said, Steek.
They kind of used it as a reminder of Orwin, really,
Yeah.
all through the series,
In case
which
you
is
forget.
fine. You know, it didn't break the story or anything, but that's where it came from, though.
Yeah. Precisely. And I think it's very beautiful that she gives it to Frodo at the end, and this will bring you aid. And in a way, it's like she's giving Frodo her magic. Though magic's the wrong word. I actually did a video about that
More
in
like
a letter.
life force ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a better word for it. Well, because as Tolkien said, even when they use the word magic to refer to the elves, it's not really talking about magic, but they just couldn't think of a better word for it because people don't understand it. Yeah. But yes, so we know that Frodo is going to get a ticket to the West. Oh gosh, P-Cat. Hello, welcome to Miss Martin Muses today. Welcome. And he's saying a Oompa Loompas with the hobbits in a battle of singing. No, thank you.
Oh, no.
No. Oompa Loompas are creepy. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
So that was one of those encounters. First of all, Arwen speaks. We actually see her, and we see that she's really lovely and nice, and she knows Bilbo and gives this to Frodo, and I think it's a very moving thing. So they decide to leave, and they're gonna head out to also with what's his name, with Theoden, because they had to leave him behind when they Eowyn and Éomer had gone off to kind of rebuild their country, which was devastated by the war, and then they said that they were going to come and bring Theoden home. So there's a whole procession that leaves with the hobbits first for the funeral. So they pick up Theoden, for lack of a better word, make a big procession, and they head first to Rohan. And this is where a big parting happens, because we say goodbye to Theoden. They honor him in a very big, fancy funeral. And then there's
he would smell pretty ripe once he gets back.
Yeah. I'm thinking, well, hopefully they dumped a bunch of like smelly oils on him or something. But he was buried outside of the Methuselah dead, or however you pronounce that. So no one probably smelt it, and they put him right in. Because when the procession arrives, they just go straight out, and then they bury him and sing for quite a long. And then they go back to have a big party. But Merry stood at the foot of the green mound, and he wept. When the song was ended, he cried, Theoden King, farewell. As a father you were to me. For a little while, farewell. And there was weeping of women and all that, because of course, we cry. And then they had a big party and a ceremony where they mention all the kings of the Mark, and finally end with Éomer. So Éomer takes upon himself as a king, even though he automatically became the king when his uncle died. It's official. And they go, Hail, Éomer, king of the Mark. At this point, then Éomer rather, announces the engagement of Éowyn and Faramir, and points out that this is something that is going to unite their two kingdoms. So not only did the two hook up, it actually was a very strong political alliance as well. It was just a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yet thus is the friendship of the Mark and of Gondor bound with a new bond, and more so do I rejoice. And then Eowyn says to Aragorn, wish me joy, my liege lord and healer. And he goes, I have wished thee joy ever since I first saw thee. It heals my heart to see thee now in bliss. So there we go. So we say goodbye to Éomer, and a last little moment between Aragorn and Eowyn, putting all that to rest. And we have the funeral. So Theoden said goodbye. And then they are going to continue on with the hobbits for a while. The elves who are going to be heading west, except Arwen decides to stay behind. And this is a very moving scene. They don't tell us what happens or what is said, but she and Elrond like go out into the hills and say their goodbye. And it's like, oh. And then they said, none saw her last meeting with Elrond, her father, for they went up into the hills, and bitter was their parting that should endure beyond the ends of the world. Oh.
So are they trying to imply that he was upset with her for staying?
Oh, that's an interesting interpretation. I more thought
probably wasn't too happy.
No. Yeah. I never thought about it like that, but now that you mention it, I guess it could be seen like that. I thought more that bitter was their parting because they were never going to see each other ever again.
It was probably both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it says bitter. I just feel like there was something there, because I don't know. It just makes it sound kind of not such a good parting.
Yeah. Well, everyone else was having fun, I guess, and the elves were going to the west. That's just what was going on. Oh, we have an elf in the house. Hello, Lady Toriel. Hello, Lady T. I wish they could have made the movies 4 to 5 hours long with an intermission. I still would have watched it in theaters. I would have too. Absolutely.
Me too.
Yeah.
Everyone would, actually. It's
Yeah. And then Eowyn says goodbye to Merry and gives her this cute little horn. It's an ancient horn, small but cunningly wrought of silver and green. And it's just so cute. And she goes, this is an heirloom of our house. It was made by the dwarves and came from the hoard of some person forever ago. He that blows it at need shall set fear in the hearts of his enemies and joy in the hearts of his friend. So kind of implying that the temporary alliances were going to be permanent, that Merry was family and he had an heirloom from her house and would always be welcome. And Éomer says, my sister begs you receive this small thing as a memorial of Durnhelm and of the horns of the Mark at the coming of the morning. So you see, it's going to be epic. It's going to be epically remembered what they did in the battle. And also maybe shows that Éomer's not holding what Éowyn did against her. The memory of Durnhelm.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for her, the Witch King might still be alive.
Well, precisely. And it was meant to be. Like, sometimes prophecies happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Star Poopa says, I'm certain there was some bitterness between Elrond and Aragorn over Arwen that Elrond took a long time to overcome. Yeah, and they kind of showed that in the movie. That was a change I didn't mind that they did. Yeah. They have their twins. And Jacob says the next chapter is one of my favorites. Yes. Many good stuff is happening. And then off they go. And they stop by Helm's Deep. So it's like in reverse. We go and take a little tour of all their different places. And finally, Legolas repaid his promise to Gimli and went with him to the glittering caves. Yeah, because Gimli wanted him to see the glittering caves. And when he returned, he was silent, would only say that Gimli alone could find fit words to speak of them. and never before has a dwarf claimed a victory over an elf in a contest of words. So Legolas agreed. Holy crap, those glittering caves kick some serious ass.
Yeah.
Legolas caved in.
yeah. But I don't know. I just love it. They just take a tour, and then from there, they're minding their own business. They pass by Saruman and the Tower of Orthanc, and I think this is, and they find that, oops, Saruman's not here. And also they hang out with Treebeard for a bit. So,
and Quickbeam.
Yeah, and it's a premonition of what's going to happen in the scouring of the Shire. Yeah, and they say, is he dead? He's like, not dead as far as I know, but he is gone. He's gone 7 days. I let him go. There was little left of him when he crawled out. And as for that worm creature of his, he was like a pale shadow. So Treebeard maybe underestimated what Saruman could and would do. And Gandalf said, this snake has still one tooth left. I think he has the poison of his voice, and I guess that he persuaded you, even you, Treebeard, knowing the soft spot in your heart. Premonition. So they say a nice big goodbye to Treebeard. And then this is kind of sad. All save Legolas said they must now take their leave and depart either south or west. Come, Gimli, said Legolas. Now by Fangorn's leave, I will visit the deep places of the Entwood and see such trees as are nowhere else to be found in Middle-earth. You shall come with me and keep your word, and thus we will journey on together to our own lands in Mirkwood and beyond. To this Gimli agreed, though with no great delight. Here, then, at last comes the ending of the Fellowship of the Ring, said Aragorn. Yet I hope that ere long you will return to my land with the help that you promised. So finally, this is the final, really final farewell of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh,
I know. We're like, oh. But you know that Gimli and Legolas are going to go traveling off and have all these adventures.
I love how they go from being, very antagonistic towards each other to basically being best friends.
Yeah. I love it. And the whole idea that like two bros are just going to go around and do the equivalent of backpacking. We're going to do the awesome thing.
It's kind of like, the English and the French during World War I after having faced Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
Because England and France historically did not like each other one bit, but they came together against a common enemy during World War I.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know that lots of friendships and stuff happen, and as many as we said before, many marriages too, most likely.
Yeah.
And so Merry and Pippin say goodbye to Treebeard, and he goes, goodbye, and don't forget, if you hear any news of the Entwives in your land.
Oh, here we go.
They should have said, we're rooting for you.
And then he waved his great hands to all the company and went off into the tree. So bye-bye, Treebeard. And now they go to the Gap of Rohan, and Aragorn took leave of them at last. The hobbits were grieved at the parting, for Aragorn had never failed them, and he had been their guide through many perils. So, like I said, we're doing this all in reverse, and they say a big goodbye. And he says to Pippin, do not forget that you are a knight of Gondor, and I do not release you from your service. You are going now on leave, but I may recall you. And remember, dear friends of the Shire, that my realm lies also in the north, and I shall come there one day. Yeah. And we do know that Pippin and all them and Merry, they did go back and they served and became parts of their family. Didn't they name? No, it was Pippin, I think, who named one of his children after Faramir later. So they're one big
yeah, one of them did. It was probably Pippin because Mary didn't know Faramir.
Yeah, exactly. So they're all still friends and they're all still family. So they say goodbye. And then Aragorn took leave of Celeborn and Galadriel, and the lady said to him, Elfstone, through darkness you have come to your hope, and have now all your desire. Use well the days. But Celeborn said, Kinsman, farewell. May your doom be other than mine, and your treasure remain with you to the end. It's like, okay, I love you too, I guess.
Oh.
And then it was the time of sunset. And when after a while they turned and looked back, they saw the king of the west sitting upon his horse with his knights about him, and the falling sun shone upon them and made all their harness to gleam like red gold. And then they're gone. And then they get toward the end. So that's really the last of the parting. And they run across Saruman at this point. Gandalf does. It's like, I don't know how Saruman's been getting around, and he must move really fast. They come upon an old ragged man leaning on a staff. It's Saruman and Wormtongue. Galadriel and Gandalf offered Saruman mercy and reprieve. Their kindness irritated Saruman, who claimed that with his demise, theirs would soon follow. So it was just a quickie, but we do know that Saruman is still hanging around and he hasn't changed. Then they stop at Rivendell, because we got to do that, and they see Bilbo.
Yay!
Yay! And the next day, they all celebrated Bilbo's 129th birthday. And they stay there for a while, and then Frodo says he must return to the Shire. Bilbo chooses to remain in Rivendell, for he's far too old for any travels. And Bilbo gives Frodo 3 books of the collected lore entitled Translations from the Elvish, asking Frodo to finish and edit them. So we know that Bilbo's been writing all this stuff down.
Kind of like how Christopher Tolkien had to finish and edit certain books.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Precisely. And then Elrond takes Frodo aside and assures him that in time he himself would visit the Shire and he would bring Bilbo with him. And that's what it will be on the final journey. All right. I did have some comments here from the chat. Jill Calderon says, I wish I could have participated more in this series, but it's going to make an awesome companion when I reread the books myself. Oh, well, thank you. I do appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, we will be doing The Hobbit in 2 weeks. I think.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So she could read that one, and then we're going to tackle the Silmarillion.
That's going to be intense. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. I did enjoy it.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, when it came out. Yeah.
Sorry, Teresa.
It's going to be the excuse everyone needs to read it.
Exactly. And I think this is as good a time as any to read it so people can know what is in what Tolkien left us.
Yeah,
and what's not in the Amazon show.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can see what actually happened in Middle Earth before the Ring.
Yeah, the one they don't have the rights to. Exactly. And I had no idea, of course, when I started this book stream that everything would hit the fan the way it did, but I guess it was fortuitous. So come along with us.
Told you so.
Yes, Stieg. Yes, you did. Once again, you were right.
I'm an oracle.
He is an oracle. But that's what's going to be so fun. We can go through this together. And I am looking forward to revisiting this. I actually not entirely sure what your name is, but welcome to Miss Martin Muses. It's good to see you here. Got to the stream late. Sorry, I was recording my own vid. But yeah, Pippin named his son Faramir. His only recorded son. Yes.
Yeah,
Justin
but he
Proper.
had 30 more.
Probably. Well, Sam.
Yeah.
They don't call him Dippin' Pippin for nothing.
Hey, you saying Pippin was a hoe?
Yeah.
Well, he loved his wife. Justin Proper is here. Hello. Yeah, they haven't seen the Entwife in a few thousand years. That is correct. Justin Proper said, I've considered reading The Hobbit just to dip my toe into Lord of the Rings. Well, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it, Justin Proper. We're going to be discussing it not next week, because next week we're going to finish The Return of the King, and then the week after we'll probably be doing it in 2 streams.
The Hobbit is absolutely a children's book, though.
It's the easiest to read.
Yeah, it's easy to read, but keep in mind it's a children's book from, what is it, the 40s?
No,
Yeah.
earlier, the 30s. Like
Yeah,
36
yeah.
and
So it's, it's, keep that in mind while you read it, I guess. Because it does seem a little bit childish, but it's still great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's got glimmers of the greatness you're going to see in Lord of the Rings. Well, Tolkien himself said he partly wrote it for his children. You know, it's like he had kids and he wanted to write a story for them. Yeah. The Tad that shouldn't be says, why does one need an excuse to read the Silmarillion? Even in its published form, it is better than 95% of books ever written. That's true. That's true. I guess what I'm saying is that we can help each other through it, because sometimes people will start it and
the first part is I get why people feel like it's, you know, a daunting thing to get through it.
Yeah.
Because it starts at a very steep hill, you know. It's all kinds of names just being slammed in there.
It's a very detailed read. Absolutely.
Yeah. It reads like the first bit reads like an extra complicated Bible, and then the rest of it reads like a history book, kind of. So it's not really an adventure story. It's more like a lecture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precisely. And so that's why I think it'll be fun for us all to go through it together as one big happy family, or not family. Yeah, everyone's saying, 1937. That is correct. That is when The Hobbit was written. Snartapoopa says, Pippin married Diamond of Longcleave. Mary married Estella Bolgar, and they seem to have had at least one child and an unnamed son. Justin says, I've heard The Hobbit was digestible enough to get through, but Fellowship starts off really, really slow and takes forever to get going.
I mean, kind of, because, you know, Frodo waits like 20 years to leave on his journey, so it is a little bit slow in that part, but after that it picks up pretty quick. So it's not that much of the book.
Yeah, it's basically the well, chapter 1, really. Once the journey starts, it's, in my opinion, the chapter 2 and up until they get to Bree is pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it's probably my favorite part of the series, to be honest.
Well, it is. It's loads of fun. Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's when you learn a lot about Middle Earth. You learn as the hobbits learn it. And the way the Shire is described, it makes you see it in your head really clearly. It's
they did a great job bringing that to life. Yeah.
Well, I think you've said before, Stieg, that Tolkien is such a great writer. He info dumps, and you don't even know you're being info dumped.
Yeah.
I can see, though, how some people may say that because, like, the Council of Elrond and all that happens in the middle of the book. And if that's when you think the action, if you will, starts up, and the actual fellowship is formed in the middle of the book and really toward the end. Yeah. Oh, Snartapoopa says, but the good thing about The Hobbit is you will meet my great, 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 great grandhouse cousin.
Nice touch there.
Yeah. He's not wrong. Well, Well, Steve, we've I feel like we've really delved so deep into like gone to hell and back by going through this story, and now that we're getting to the denouement, I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to say that we haven't touched upon as we get toward the end.
No, not really. I think we've covered it. Um, and there's still a little bit left, which was, yeah, the another ending. Well, two other endings, really. There's a lot of endings,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's well, Tolkien nailed the ending.
Yeah.
A story is always the sum of all its parts.
Yeah.
If one part sucks, then all of it suffers from it. Hello, Disney Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, and how many people with the Game of Thrones TV show say season 1 of Game of Thrones, yay? You ask people, they're like, yeah, the ending totally sucks.
The people who got upset about season 8, they deserved it because they forgave the same shit in season 5, 6, and 7. I have no sympathy for them. I hope they cried.
Oh, they cried. Yeah. But like we said, no one cares how good maybe seasons 1 through 3 was. All everyone remembers how much the ending sucked.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that ending will carry on into the upcoming show.
Yeah.
Which is set in the same continuity as the Game of Thrones show. So, yeah, it's part of the same shit. It's already tainted.
Yeah. It's like with Disney Star Wars, all roads lead to Jake, all roads lead to
Mad Queen.
The Mad
Retardondo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lead to Hitler Khaleesi. Yeah. Justin Proper says, I bet the OneRing.net feels the same way I do about Lord of the Rings, but unironically. Oh, they definitely hate the Lord of the Rings, and I don't know when they started hating it, unless they got under new leadership. Yeah. Game of Thrones as a show ending when they killed off Selmy. Lady T, I still never watched Game of Thrones. Don't. There's no reason
don't
to.
waste your time.
Yeah.
It falls apart.
Jacob Ironside, Snort Cooper, those blonde bears aren't very bright. Yeah. Yeah, how do you kill Sir Barristan in an alley like that?
Oh, yeah, and how do you have Stannis, the greatest military commander in Westeros, according to everyone, put his supplies at the edge of his camp and then have them get burned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he burns his daughter on a huge pile of wood because his army is cold. I mean, remove the daughter from that pyre and the army could warm themselves at the fire. I mean, they had firewood. Why are you cold?
Yeah.
Well, and then like, yeah, they slaughter all the horses because they don't have supplies. Well, he had about 2,000 horses. So why not just eat the horses then?
Exactly.
That would keep his army from starving, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know Martin did say that Shireen is supposed to die that way, but I don't think that's going to be the reason for her death.
Well, Martin didn't say it. The showrunners said Martin said it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and they've been caught lying a lot about stuff like that. Because if Stannis is about to have the Winterfell battle in the books, so if he loses, he's dead, right?
Yeah.
If he wins, there's no reason to sacrifice the daughter, who is, by the way, at the wall, because you don't bring your kid along for when you're battling someone who skins their enemies.
Yeah. And well, not just your child, but your heir.
Yeah, your only heir.
Yeah.
So Stannis isn't going to do that. Someone, Melisandre, might burn the kid, though, and the crazy mom. But, yeah. But that, Stannis wouldn't do that.
No. That's ridiculous. Actually, Yeah. I want to circle back just very quickly. And Princess Rennie, if you had any thoughts you wanted about everything up to this point in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I I don't know. I think that you guys are 100% um on target with saying that J.R.R. Tolkien wraps this story up nicely because, as we can see with Game of Thrones, bad ending causes your whole story to crumble. And that's all you'll ever be known for is like, well, this sucked because they didn't know how to wrap it up, or, you know, a character did a complete 180 out of nowhere and, did all this stuff that was out of character for them. And, that's what you'll be remembered for if you mess it up. And he wasn't remembered for that. He was remembered for writing great stories and great lore and, great detail. So I really do think that everything has come together very nicely. My only thing, but you can read it in the appendices, is I do sometimes hate the fact that Arwen was kept out of it so much because I love the romance between her and Aragorn, and I love the parallels between him, Beren and Luthien, and Aragorn and Arwen.
Mm-hmm.
But I really, really can't say much about anything else. But yeah, great story. It's rereadable. It's timeless, and I have it in print, so you can't take it away from me and rewrite it. So that's a positive. But yeah, I've always loved Faramir and Éowyn being a thing as soon as I've read it and as soon as I've seen it. I thought that they were meant to be, and I never understood why she had such feelings for Aragorn. It just didn't make sense to me. And I like how they kind of wrap that up as well. But yeah, we're about to come on to the Scouring of the Shire, which will be nice. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say about it other than it's just really wrapping it up. The only sad thing is it's getting wrapped up, and there's no more to read about in a few chapters, as far as this story goes.
Yeah. Well, and that's where we can use our imagination to a certain degree. And there has been some really good fan fiction, true fan fiction, written that you can find around on these about the Third Age, that people that really do respect the lore. A lot of people go to fan fiction when they're too old to play with Barbies, because I don't know about you, but when I played with my Star Wars action figures, I had all sorts of stories or things that might have happened after Return of the Jedi with my action figures. And then as you get older, you write them down. So you do find those.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And from what you're saying, yeah, I think rereading these and seeing how it worked, what you said about Aragorn and Éowyn, it's like, yeah, you can see it now. It's just, it kind of came out of the blue, and it was just, for lack of a better word, a crush.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Jacob Ironside says, I would like to see a Legolas and Gimli movie about their adventures, but it would probably be woke. Oh, yeah. Anything new. Absolutely.
But that's one of the best parts of the story, is how their friendship blossomed. And it was pretty amazing for me. And, reading it, you get to see more of it than you do in the movie. But yeah, it's a really awesome friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And well, I think Tolkien himself said why you don't see a lot of the romances of these characters is because it just didn't fit in with the narrative of the story he was telling. Like he always said that he thought that the highest, most important love story was between Aragorn and Arwen, and it's something that they didn't even talk about. He said because he couldn't find a way to fit it in within the narrative. Yeah. So that also goes to show that he wasn't being superfluous. He did have a goal. I know some people have tried to say, well, the reason why you don't see any romance is because they're really all gay. It's like, no, they're not all gay. They just had their own loves either after the story or within the narrative. And as they said, that it wasn't like the elves were just sitting around. Who said that? Help me with the pronunciation of this. It's name, because it's to me it looks like a bunch of syllables together, something that shouldn't be. I think is what it says. I'm just having trouble. So if you wouldn't mind helping me.
Oh,
It said, remember regarding Aragorn, once the War of the Ring broke out, she was trapped in Rivendell by Sauron's army and was besieging it. She could not do anything outside Rivendell until after the war. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, but she wouldn't need to. She wasn't fighting the war. Not everyone's a warrior. Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah.
yeah, it's fair. Totally fair. Not everyone is a warrior.
Just improper. Well, her main goal was to make the sigil for Aragorn, the banner. I mean, it was great.
Oh, he put the pronunciation in the chat.
Okay,
Teresa.
thank you. The tad that should not be. Thank you. Yeah, I just understand it. Just to me, I was like, is this Icelandic? Because that's what Icelandic looks like to me, a bunch of syllables put together. All right, the tad that should not be. Thank you. Or the tad that shouldn't be. Justin Proper, what you're saying about Legolas, was Legolas and Mary Sue? He seemed too perfect in the movies, especially The Hobbit.
Yeah, damn right he was a Mary Sue in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie he was,
but not in the books.
Yeah, not in the books, not at all. He wasn't even in The Hobbit, in the book The Hobbit.
No, his dad was.
He would have been though, because Legolas was an adult and a warrior during the Battle of the Five Armies. So he would have been there, but he's just not mentioned.
No, they focused on Thranduil instead.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. Yeah, and as I said, the tad that shouldn't be, yeah, that's what Tolkien said. Is like it wasn't, he had a narration that was going through. Yeah, well, the Hobbit, except for the parts that directly correspond to the books, I also put in the category of fan fiction. It wasn't Tolkien. It wasn't what he wrote. It wasn't even true to what he wrote. It was Jackson, for a variety of reasons, adding material to it. And I think that there was a lot more studio interference, and he was definitely coming from a different place at that point. He wasn't even supposed to be doing it. It was supposed to be another Del Toro, and he came in very late to it. Yeah, Tommy's talking about his experience during World War One. Yeah, absolutely. In general, there's no reason, in my humble opinion, to do any more stories from Tolkien's Middle Earth. There's no reason. We have a very good adaptation of the Lord of the Rings. Flawed. There were flaws. But in general, it stayed true to the spirit of what Tolkien wrote, and they did respect Tolkien. The Hobbit, it's been done, and there were some scenes in there which really were awesome. I like to see the Hobbit movies as vignettes. Like I thought that the scenes at the beginning with the dwarves and Bilbo, and they're singing the songs and eating all the food and throwing the dishes, that was very much like the book, and as was the riddles in the dark. I love that. So there were good moments, in the Hobbit movie. As for making a story out of the Silmarillion, well, first of all, we know they can't, because they don't have the rights to it, and I think it's just time to just leave it all alone. Just leave it alone, because no one's capable of actually adapting it. And this
if you can't do it justice, please don't destroy it. Don't touch it.
Yeah, and if you want to do something justice, don't hire people with no writing credits.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they're not even really fans of the stories.
No. The show writers have no writing credits. It's like, wow.
I know. Imagine that. The conspiracy theorist in me is thinking they did that on purpose, because then they could make them do whatever they told them to do. Like a writer with integrity would go, "No, this is crap storytelling. No, this doesn't work."
They were hired for their political views. That's the only reason.
Yeah. But even people with political views have a little bit of dignity in the quality of their writing. But
not these.
Yeah. Perhaps. I'm just saying that they wanted inexperienced writers, because experienced writers would even be like, well, this is that's all I'm trying to say, because it sounds like it's a mumbled bunch of goo that doesn't even make any darn bit of sense, that even somebody with some sort of agenda would at least have a little bit of dignity, but they didn't want anyone that knew anything about writing. Sort of Poopa says, Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Warnes were getting progressively carried away with themselves, in my Ursine opinion. Yeah. I actually agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I this Rohirrim, Ride of the Rohirrim cartoon or anime thing, it maybe has the potential to be good, but I just don't trust anybody. And
It's an odd thing to make a, what is it, a movie? The Rohirrim thing?
It's a cartoon. I think a cartoon series, or is it just a movie?
It's a weird thing to pick. If you're going to make something Tolkienish, you'd think they'd do something more exciting than just the cavalry.
I think they just did something quick because they knew that if they didn't do something within a certain amount of time, they would lose the rights, and they didn't want Amazon to take them.
That's very possible.
Could be.
Yeah. Kick says
because there's a war going on in the north as well during the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, Elrond's sons are up there, I believe.
Yeah, with the Númenórean Rangers, right?
Yeah, you'd think that would be something too. But that would be more exciting.
Because it's kind of like a parallel to the Lord of the Rings, or to the Lord of the Rings story.
Yeah, and you'd have characters that people really, really want to see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's very interesting. Yes, Tad, we know that. It's not being done by Amazon. That's why Stig said what he said. He says they want to go ahead and get it done, perhaps until the rights might revert to them. And yeah, Kick says writing through a committee. Yes. I am not a committee. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we now know that this is anything that's going on with the Amazon is a vanity project where they're just wanting to make a quick buck, and they brought in some marketing people with some really bad ideas. I was listening to someone who said everyone can agree, no matter how they feel about what's being done, that everyone can agree that their publicity campaign has been complete garbage. On every front, it has been complete garbage.
Exactly.
That no one should be promoting a movie like this, and that ridiculous super fan promotional thing, and the Disparu, go sub to him. He has some really good stuff. He got all the footage from all the different languages and countries that they did almost the exact same thing, and you could tell that it was scripted. They were told what to do, and in many ways what to say, because you'd find like the people from Germany all did this, all looked in the same direction at the same time, and then they took the people from Italy and England and all that, and it's like they think we don't have the internet and we can't see how fake it is.
Yeah,
it's just bad publicity, and also, if you're going to think that you're going to get anywhere by coming right out the gate and calling Tolkien fans of all people, ignorant, stupid, racist, homophobic, and every name in the book, and saying you just don't know what you're talking about, and then come out and say, well, we actually don't even have the rights to them. It's like it's a shit show, and the fact that they ever thought they could get away with it is ridiculous. Justin Proper, yes, they did. Okay, they did. They like Tom Shippey. He met Tolkien. They that Tolkien scholars, the ones that are true Tolkien scholars, most of them did have the pleasure of meeting the good professor. And the ones that they usually call Tolkien scholars are not scholars. You know, genres for Lord of the Rohirrim are the same as anime, Blade Runner, etc., etc. You know, Philippa Boyens is holding on the film. Yeah, that's why I'm a little. Yeah, I'm. That's why I'm a little bit concerned about it, because I'm not entirely sure if she is exactly the keeper of the keys when it comes to respecting the lore. Lord of the Rohirrim is an anime. It's been in the works before Amazon's Ring of Power. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's completely separate. We understand that, but it's some ancient story. It's like long before it. It could be really cool, but just that ship has passed, in my humble opinion. Well, as we start to wrap up this party, I don't know if there's anything else. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
It's just sad we're coming to the end, but all good things must end, and it ends on a high note for me. And yeah, just another reason why Tolkien was a great writer and why we should appreciate what he does, because his story did not fall apart. It went on strong, and if you guys read the appendices, you see some great things happen for characters that he couldn't fit into the story.
Well said. Well said. And I'm assuming this is a Russian word, Tommy, to all trolls. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming
I saw
it's probably, I am not even going to try to pronounce Russian. That's just all there is to it. To all trolls, and definitely to the bots. And thank you. I want to say a nice, strong thank you to my mods for taking care of some of our Russian bot non-friends. Taking care of them. I don't know what they're gaining by messing around with my stream, but they have. I want to thank everyone that's come into the chat, everyone that's coming into the chat. We always have Shane Nolan. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Shane Nolan says Christopher Lee was a cousin of Ian Fleming, the Bond writer. That is true, yes. And he is the only actor, I think, associated with the Lord of the Rings who did meet the good professor, as you said. Sort of Poopus says, I wish the me of today could meet Tolkien, but I'd probably be too tongue-tied to have a conversation. You know. So yes, thank you, Snorter Poopus. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Shane. Oh, Shane Nolan is translating it. Thank you. It means goodbye in Russian. Oh, okay. Goodbye. I just didn't know. I didn't know. When you said especially trolls, I thought could have said something that started with an F and a U. Thank you for that. The tad that shouldn't be. For being here. I do appreciate you and everyone that's popped in. Justin Proper, Lady T. If I miss anyone, my sincere apologies. Keck44, thank you for modding for me. I almost said the Russian bot. Stunning and Brave Megatron. Once again, if I miss anyone, my most sincere apologies. I do appreciate everyone that comes in and everyone that watches these in the replay. And the chat is great. You all give us loads and loads of information and great discussions between yourselves. I've really enjoyed going on this journey. I almost feel like we're going through mini partings. It's like we're saying goodbye to this. We've been doing this for 6-7 months. It was in July that we began these streams, but we will be going, and goodness knows how long we'll be doing the Silmarillion. We might be able to get through 3 paragraphs before we figure
Well, you
it
know,
out.
the Silmarillion isn't as thick as the Lord of the Rings.
That's true.
No, it's just more complicated.
Yeah, if we just keep the same pace, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, though, that we might have like one paragraph that we could talk 10 hours on. Just you talk about info dumping. It's just like, damn, there's lots of information here. But you're right. So you're right. We should probably. Well, I'm not going to make any predictions. But I do want to thank you all. Have a I almost forgot to do my outro. Rennie, where can we find you?
Well, other than here on some Saturdays when we're talking Lord of the Rings, I'm typically on Mr. Brown Alliance's channel. Today we're talking about The Godfather. Teresa, am I okay to say everything about this?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Has he given you an NDA?
No. I just meant for your part. But
yeah.
So today it starts at 4:30 p.m. Central. It's usually between 4 and 5. And Teresa will be joining us today. I'm really excited about that. One of my favorite movies. I watch the Godfather series every February, every February, every February. So it's always been a thing for me. And the fiance, this is our second year doing this together. And we're not big on holidays, but he said, you know what, this is our thing. And I just thought it was made it 10 times more special. So I'm really excited about this stream today.
Yay. Well, that's going to be loads of fun. And yeah, well, thank you. I think, anything else?
I think that's about it at the moment. Unless, but I went from having no sleep Friday nights to having too much sleep last night, but I wasn't feeling well last night. So I feel 10 times better. No regrets. So I have no
Nice.
brain from having too much sleep.
Well done. Yeah, well done. Well, how about you, Steve? Where can we find you?
Well, I'm not going to be on YouTube for quite a while now. Well, unless the Monday thing on your channel.
The double pick.
Yeah, maybe that one. But yeah, I'm doing less YouTube than I used to, a lot less. Yeah, I'm usually on this channel on Fridays and Saturdays, and Gravy and I are doing the 80s stream, probably not too long. What is it called? The Blockbuster Archives. We do that once a month, where we talk about one movie each that we've been told to watch by the other person from a certain year. So next time we're doing 1982.
Nice.
And I am to watch An Officer and a Gentleman.
Yay!
And she is to watch Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, that is so hilarious.
It's a polar opposite, isn't it?
Yes. So funny.
But it's great fun, and we talk about major events in the world that happened in that year as well. So it's a little bit of a nostalgia flashback, a little bit educational, maybe. I don't know.
Cool.
But that's always fun. I think it was, what was it, 2 weeks ago we did 1981. So in a week or two we'll probably do the next one.
Nice.
And I'm on the Cringe Factory with Mara on Wednesdays for the we talk about cringy stuff. The top 3 or 4 most cringy pop culture things that happened during the week, and narrowing it down to 3 or 4 is difficult because people are going, especially the gaming sites and all that, they're going beyond full retard at the moment. So
yeah, they definitely, you have plenty of material.
Yeah, it's like if you want to be a gaming journalist, you have to prove that your IQ is 35 or lower, otherwise you won't get the job.
No, that's definitely true. Yeah. You just need to learn 3 words: racist, sexist, homophobic, and
almost all the articles starts with blah 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 this game, and then the person writing it makes the rest of the article about him/herself.
Yep.
It's just you're supposed to talk about the game, not make it your diary.
Exactly. Good point. Yeah, narcissism is at the height of everything. Okay, well, there we go. And you can find me, Miss Martin Muses, here on Miss Martin Muses. On this Monday night, the double pick will be returning with Western movies. Bring 2 of your favorite Western movies, or it doesn't have to be your favorite, rather. Let me rephrase that. It's not your favorite. Just choose 2. It can be movies that you really enjoy or movies that you think people should watch. So 2 movies. I'm also going to be on Alora's channel, OG. We're talking about the courtship of Princess Leia in honor of the late Wolverton. And on my channel, it's going to be the first Thursday where myself, Biggles, and My Nerdy Home will be discussing season 4 of Once Upon a Time. And then, of course, my Saturday shows. I've been doing some series on the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien. So if you want to get a little more detail about what their good professor says, you can also find some of those. So once again, thank you. I'm reading everything y'all are saying in the chat. You guys are hilarious. And keep watching and reading what you love. You don't have to feel obliged, in my humble opinion, to read or watch anything you don't want to. Read and watch what brings you joy, and the rest, screw it all. That's my thing. So I'm going to wrap up this party. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain.
Don't reach through a glory hole.
That's what happens when I don't have one prepared. I usually try to be certain to stay away from cracks of doom. How's that?
Also, salt is a mineral, not a spice.